Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to step into the dojo of modern neuroscience to master an ancient human technology, your breath. Think about it. You breathe over 20,000 times a day, probably without giving it a second thought. But what if I told you the exact way you inhale and exhale literally holds the key to rewiring your mental health, boosting your memory, and stabilizing your emotions? Now, right before we hit the mat, please pause and read this medical disclaimer. The respiratory techniques we're about to dive into are highly powerful physiological interventions. They can seriously alter your heart rate, blood pressure, and even your state of consciousness. So definitely consult your healthcare provider before trying any intensive practices.
Okay, so let's get into it. Obviously, we breathe automatically just to stay alive, right? But groundbreaking research out of Northwestern University reveals something mind-blowing. The precise rhythm of your breath actually coordinates electrical activity across your brain's emotional and memory centers. Your breath isn't just about gas exchange. It's literally the pacemaker for your brainwaves. No way, right? Let's look closer.
Section 1. The brain-breath connection.
We're going to start microscopically by looking at the anatomical hardware of this neuro-respiratory synchronization. So how exactly does pulling air through your face change how you think and feel? Well, it all comes down to the route that air takes. Nasal breathing creates these microscopic air plumes that periodically enter the nose. And those plumes, they actually synchronize neurons in your limbic system, specifically your piriform cortex, your amygdala, and your hippocampus. On the flip side, when researchers had participants breathe strictly through their mouths, there was a massive decline in this vital brainwave coupling. You literally lose electrical synchronization in your memory and emotion centers when you breathe through your mouth.
And get this, there's actually a fascinating neurological difference between breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in through the nose actively optimizes your brain's information processing. During studies, people were able to identify fearful faces faster, and they recalled visual memories significantly better while inhaling compared to exhaling. Inhaling is kind of like hitting the refresh button on your brain's cognitive processing power.
Section 2. Healing with Holotropic Breathwork.
Zooming out from that microscopic brainwave data, let's see how radically altered states of consciousness induced entirely by breathing are being used for healing in massive clinical settings. So over a 12-year period, 11,000 psychiatric inpatients at a community hospital safely took part in something called holotropic breathwork. Designed by psychiatrists Stanislav and Christina Grof, this is a non-drug alternative to psychedelic therapy. It uses enhanced breathing, evocative music, and focused bodywork to help patients enter non-ordinary states of consciousness to process deep trauma.
In a documented subset of 482 of those hospital patients, an astonishing 82% reported profound transpersonal or spiritual experiences. And honestly, here's the most incredible part. Across all 11,000 patients, over more than a decade of sessions, there wasn't a single reported adverse complication. Zero. It proved to be a highly effective, incredibly well-tolerated method for real psychological catharsis.
To understand the true, life-changing power of this therapy, look at this specific case report. It involved a 14-year-old boy suffering from severe major depression who had actually survived multiple suicide attempts. During his holotropic breathwork session, he experienced what he described as becoming pure consciousness and merging with the universe. And that spiritually profound experience, it led to a rapid remission of his affective symptoms. It just goes to show how breathwork can unlock doors in the human psyche that traditional therapies sometimes struggle to even reach.
Section 3. Wim Hof for depression.
Building off that foundation of clinical breathwork, modern science is now validating high-arousal stress resilience interventions. You've probably heard of the most famous one, the Wim Hof Method. In a really rigorous, randomized trial involving 84 women dealing with high depressive symptoms, researchers compared the Wim Hof method, which includes rapid breathing, breath holding, and cold exposure, against a control group doing just slow-paced breathing and warm showers. The results were pretty wild. Both interventions resulted in identical 24% reductions in depression and 27% reductions in anxiety after just 3 weeks.
So the huge takeaway here is that both high arousal and low arousal breathing interventions work beautifully to combat depression. Remarkably, nearly half of all the participants actually maintain those clinical benefits 3 months later, going from severe symptoms to mild or even no depression. Though it is worth noting, the Wim Hof group initially experienced a greater reduction in daily stress rumination. It seems that the intense hormetic stress of rapid breathing and cold exposure might act like a powerful reset button for a mind stuck in an overthinking loop.
Section 4. Master the 4-7-8 method.
All right, now it's time to step onto the mat and learn how to run this software yourself.
We're going to check out 2 highly practical tools. Let's start with a technique designed to shift you into absolute tranquility. Integrative medicine specialist Dr. Melissa Young explains that the 4-7-8 method, which is rooted in ancient yogic pranayama, gives your brain a calming mental distraction. This actively engages your parasympathetic nervous system. That's your body's rest and digest network, basically acting as the brake pedal to your stressed-out fight or flight response.
You can try this right now. Simply place the tip of your tongue just behind your top front teeth. Now inhale quietly through your nose for a count of 4. Gently hold that breath for a count of 7. And finally, exhale audibly through your mouth with a whooshing sound for a count of 8. Doing just 3 or 4 cycles of this, maybe twice a day, can literally train your nervous system to adopt this calm state as its everyday baseline. How great is that?
Section 5. Cognition and Anulom Vigil.
But wait, what if you don't want to sleep? What if you need to focus? Beyond just deep relaxation, targeted breathwork is a totally potent tool to sharpen your executive functioning and your cognitive response speed. There are dual, bottom-up neurological mechanisms of controlled breathing happening here. When you breathe deeply, the physical stretching of your lungs stimulates your vagus nerve and that activates your brainstem. At the exact same time, the airflow over your nasal receptors entrains an olfactory rhythm that directly generates oscillations in the hippocampus. So it's basically a 2-pronged neurological upgrade.
And the proof is right there in the performance data. Researchers at Osmania Medical College tested 60 medical students using a highly rigorous test to measure concentration and visual scanning speed. After practicing a specific breathing technique called Anulom Vilom for literally just 5 minutes, their cognitive test net scores spiked from an average of 43.9 all the way up to 52.68. Plus, their error rates completely plummeted. 5 minutes of breathing made them measurably faster and more accurate.
And you can execute this cognitive upgrade for yourself right now. Anulom Vilom, also known as alternate nostril breathing, is super simple. Sit up straight. Close your right nostril with your thumb. Now breathe in and out slowly through your left nostril for about 6 seconds. Then close your left nostril with your ring finger, open the right side, and repeat. This continuous, balanced nasal stimulation drives that high-level cortical activation we were just talking about.
Whether you're looking to heal deep emotional wounds in a clinical setting, totally drop your anxiety levels, sharpen your mind before a big meeting, or honestly just find a little peace in a chaotic world, remember this: your breath is the ultimate, ever-present remote control for your nervous system. So I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. If just 5 minutes of intentional breathing can quite literally rewire your brain circuitry and heal your mind, what happens to your life if you finally start taking control of the other 20,000 breaths you take every single day?